Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Touhou World Cup 2021. We have one hell of a score game for you today. One that a lot of people I say kind of sleep on. We're going to show you just how good it is today. And as usual, I have two of the best people in the business demonstrate just how good it is. Yeah, good extremely early morning. We're all tired here, but that's fine. This game's gonna wake us right back up. Alright then, let's get them in. Let's get them in. Hello, hello. Hello, hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Question mark?
Hello.
Hello. How you both doing?
You're doing fine.
Doing fine, I'm doing good too. I'm really looking forward to this match, honestly. This kind of one kind of snuck up on me when it was only a couple of days ago where I looked at the scores and I realized, oh, this is actually going to be a really close match. This is going to be really exciting.
It's actually extremely close.
Yeah, this is an extremely close match. So we've got two players pretty experienced in Fairy Wars today. We have Cerasis on Team China with a score of, I think it's 114.8 mil. And then you have Gyouch, who just recently overtook Cerasis. It was just the other day, I believe it was Thursday, he overtook him and he got 115. Pretty much exactly. That's very, very exciting indeed. It's going to make this a very close and competitive match. This is what I like to see on Touhou World Cup.
When I see Gyouch's name, I'm thinking he's the Chinese guy since he has CH at the end, but he's actually on Team Japan.
Yeah, he is on Team Japan. Like, I guess it can get a bit confusing, but yeah, this is a very unique game in the series, isn't it? This is very different to all the others. Oh, is that his full name? I didn't know, Crested. Thank you.
His full name is Gyouch.
Gyouch. That's such a cool name, Gyouch.
So what does Kyo mean?
What? What are you playing? What are you playing just now, Satis? Are you playing like Bat Rider or something?
No, I'm not playing anything.
And what killed you? What happened?
No, I said what does Kyo mean?
Oh, right, there we go. Gyouch. Alright, then let's switch over to our stream audio here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we should explain a bit, like, just why this game is so very different to all the others, and why it's such a unique score game in Touhou. Like, let's begin there for everybody.
Well, the first thing is that the scoring system is very minimal in this game. There's no EIV, there's no game on chains. The bonuses are just based on how much motivation you have at the end of the game, so there's no build-up of having a full stock of bombs or anything like that at the end, having the maximum amount of lives, and you get pretty much all of your points using freeze mechanic of the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to this freeze mechanic, which we'll go through as the match goes on. And it's one of the most complex mechanics we have. Oh, here we go, we get to see the match. We get to see players. Help you, alright? What's happening here?
そんなすぐ、すぐ終わ
Alright
る
then, let's
Seems
get
like
it
we've got Cerasis practicing Diamond Ring, except
Yep, Diamond
what
Ring
is he
right now.
doing?
変に
What,
しようかな。
what is he
He's
doing
not
on this?
freezing.
This doesn't seem.
This is not the normal strat we see on this now. I
Yeah,
think he's
this-
just trying
this-
to dodge it for the sake of it. Oh my god, that's loud.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the scoring strat.
Yeah, this is not the scoring strat, but I'm sure we'll see the scoring strat, don't worry. I think he's just trying to
It's
go
like-
through it for the sake of it.
Seems like he has a gold medal on this spell, so he might have done this before.
Yeah, yeah, see the gold medal now.
And seems
Why
like
is-
Gyouch is preparing for his UFO match.
Hey, we got UFO on Sunday, don't we? UFOs are made. UFO's a good score game in its own right. But we've got Fairy Wars today. Yeah, Gyouch, I'm playing the wrong game right now, but that's okay. We're doing Meteor? Going round and round?
Seems like he's again going for some gold medals.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a gold medal on
Oh,
this
wow,
spell
how'd he
according
get
to
that?
his record.
Doesn't have a gold medal on this, let's see what he can do then. Gold medals are not relevant for scoring. Let's see what he can do. We should explain, oh no. Oh. Wait, Crested, how did you get it that wrong? Oh my. Like, I'm not gonna question it, okay? I'm not gonna question it. I do wonder why Gyouch is practicing these though. I don't know, I guess just preparing for UFO. He's doing an okay job of it as well. Yeah, I'm going with Gyouch and TSG. Yeah, get well soon, Crested. Get well soon. You're doing good work here. Wait, Dagoth, is he actually doing the commentary for UFO snowing? Oh my god. This makes a lot of sense then. I mean, I've been doing my own reading into this. I think what we're going to see today is, I think we're going to see both players going for A2, I believe, which is the highest scoring route in the game. Yeah, Gyouch has scored a lot of games. And he has a good few PNDs, if that's any indication. Yeah, I believe we're going to see an A2 showdown today. This is what's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
A2
this is what people who have been stalking these players have been telling us.
Yeah. And I believe A2 is, well, A2 is the highest scoring run in the game. It's the highest scoring route in the game with the record.
Yeah, by quite a fair margin.
Yeah, by quite a fair margin. Like the record for
But
that being 100. Sorry, yeah.
But the highest scoring variants of pretty much all the bosses, the highest scoring stage 2 mid boss, and then the highest scoring stage 2 boss and the stage 3 boss, also a high scoring variant.
Yeah. That's just how it is. And we're approaching match start time here. Just under a minute left on their timer here. Good luck. Yep, good luck to both players, indeed.
Seems
Yeah,
like
we
we're
got
getting closer to the start line.
Getting close to the start line here. So when we start off, we'll explain the basic mechanic. We'll explain the basic mechanics here and how it all works, and we'll get through the. And there is a lot of flashpoints to this run because there's no one single point where you get tons and tons of score. It's like lots of places where you get about like 3 or 4 mil off of one attack. Alright then, we are getting underway here now. That's Gyouch off and running. And Cerasis will follow up just soon.
And he instantly resets. What is he doing? He didn't even die before he reset or do anything.
Alright, so here we are, we're off and running. So then, I will let you, Turska, and Satis, our resident experts of Fairy Wars here, explain what's going on here.
Well, our plane on the right seems to be having trouble with the start of stage 1. It's actually a pretty hard section, and you often see people reset this a couple of times before they get past the first 10 seconds, but let's focus on this guy on the left instead. He's freezing the stage fairies, and you see that when he's grazing the bullets, charging his ice, which is indicated by that percentage on top of Cerno, and when your ice is at 30% or more, you can release the freeze attack, and depending on how high your ice amount is, the longer your ice is going to last. That's the core mechanic of the game, charging this ice by shooting bosses and enemies and grazing bullets, and then letting it rip on some poor unsuspecting bullets.
Yeah. So there's something interesting going on Lily here. You can see how Cerasis is only shooting them with the very side of his shot with Lily, and why is he doing that?
It's good observation, and the reason is the amount of ice charge that you get out of shooting enemies or bosses is the same regardless of how much damage you actually deal to the boss. If you're shooting them with just the edge of the shot, still gets the full amount. And you want to milk the bosses in this game. Milk the bosses in this game as there's no major bonuses for finishing nons or spell cards faster, so most of them are going to be milked to timeout. But the bosses don't have enough HP to be frozen for full damage throughout that cycle. So there's going to be a lot of conservation of their HP by either freezing a bit smaller, trying to make it not connect, or using this side shot technique to not deal as much damage to them while charging the ice.
Yeah, it's important to conserve the boss's health so you can sort of use it to charge up your ice. Charge up your freeze, sorry. Yeah.
Can Gyouch get past the stage 1 mid boss here? He's going to be using 2 score bombs here on this third known spell. You see this freezes the entire screen. The resource system in this game is also unique compared to other games. There's no static amount of lives that you can acquire throughout the game, but instead every freeze that you use gets you motivation, which is the yellow number on the top right, currently at 356% on Gyouch's screen. You gain that from every freeze you do, depending on how many bullets you cancel and how much damage it deals to enemies, up to about 10% per freeze. So depending on how this is optimized, you might see the players get an extra life or not get an extra life in this route. And there's also a lot of lives you can get by doing a lot of milking doing this, up to like about 2200% motivation across the entire game or something like that. And the maximum amount of motivation you can have in stock is only 1000, which means that there's a fair bit of surplus that you can use either to die accidentally or the suicide for score. And there's also perfect freeze or bombs that you gain from freezing, which is what Gyouch is going for right now.
Sorry,
these freezes here.
So we can
from these freezes on Luna's first non-spell, he would like to get a 30% on his freezes, since when this happens, he gets 20% perfect freeze or pink number from his freeze, but when it's below 30%, he gets between 1 to 9%. So there's a huge increase in the amount of perfect freeze you gain from the 30% mark.
So this is one of the more important early game milk spells here on Gyouch's screen, Luna's screen.
Also, Satis, are you alive? I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah. I'm alive.
Satis is alive, he's fine, don't worry.
Yeah, so speaking of 30%, it's really important on this non-spell that you reach at least 295% perfect freeze, or you won't be able to do 4 bombs on the spell, which will lose you a lot of score.
Seems like this player on the right is not going for that strat at all. He didn't suicide on Luna's first spell, so he might be trying to have more lives for stage 2 for safety.
Yeah, doesn't seem like he's milking the second one as well. It's a very scary turn, so it's quite understandable. And he died to it.
Oh no. That's not great, but it's not a disaster.
Yeah, out
Yeah,
of
the
it,
amount
like,
of
out of like any Touhou game, this is probably like the least punishing to die accidentally.
Yeah, assuming you get all your, assuming you nail all your freezes properly. It's another spell where you get a decent match score. You can get about, I believe, 1-0 out of this.
the reason dying isn't so punishing is since your perfect freeze in this game isn't connected to your lives. You don't lose your bomb stock or anything. You keep your existing perfect freeze number, and 25% gets added to it every time you die.
Yeah, and that's an important part of suiciding in this game.
Absolutely.
Because
Seems
the
like
bombs,
our player on the
sorry.
right has paused and he might be... No, he's not gonna reset good.
No, this is
Quite a bit scared there.
yeah, this is okay for a first run. Alright, off we go. So stage 2. Oh, okay, we're good. Yes, we're gonna see A2 today, which is the highest scoring and a very interesting round in its own right. So we're going to see a score bomb here from Gyouch.
There's also a cap in the amount of PF you can have in stock, which is 300%, and he just used a bomb there while he was at 299%. So he's not wasting any of the PF he could be gaining from pieces.
Yeah,
Having that bomb there.
and you don't want to be wasting that because bombs in this game are so important for just gaining score. The amount you can use. Okay, so we have Lily Black here. Lily Black that's a very important attack, which you want to milk. Which you want to milk properly.
Seems like he's also milking this first non-spell, which can be a bit scary with these fast
Yeah, it's a bit
fireballs.
scary. There's so many fireballs just coming at you.
The HP management is also very difficult. Seems like he died a bit early there.
Yeah, it seems like it. Just trying to milk
player
the
is
stem too.
The player is attempting ice grazes on this non-spell by freezing the bullets and then surfing the edge of the ice while the freeze is spreading, so he grazes the bullets just before they get frozen, which very swag and can charge your next freeze instantly, but can also get you killed if you execute it wrong. You see he's been very careful about doing that. And he doesn't do it on every freeze when he can tell that he doesn't have the right setup.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the big
Probably
attack
gonna
here. Here
use
we
like
go.
3 suicides here, or maybe 4 depending on the shot, but hopefully 3. And
Yeah.
you want to freeze it at the top of the screen to make sure the bullets that will escape first get frozen first. You also have to make sure to not damage with the black much here. She can
Yeah, the boss's HP on this attack is hilariously small.
yeah, and she moves however she wants, so she can decide to move straight into your freeze if she wants to. But you can try manipulating boss movements with there's like a 2 in 3 chance that the boss will move towards you, so you can try
Yeah,
to
you can try
make
it.
it go the other direction.
Yeah, there is a bit of RNG to it, but you can try and get out of the way. So this ring
Cyphers,
section
let's
here,
Let's see what pattern he goes for. He's going for the more difficult one where he freezes at the bottom and then goes back
Spawn
up to the
grazes.
top to
There we go.
spawn grace.
Yep.
Looks like he's doing a mixed route where he does some of the difficult freezes and some of the easy ones. He starts with a... Or is he going for the full tin? Got that pretty well. I think he missed one of the 30%, but otherwise that went pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty good.
yeah, that was pretty good.
There's also a damage control factor to the suicides, which are used on the mid-boss and elsewhere. Normally when your freeze explodes on top of the boss's hitbox, boss takes full damage from the freeze. But if you die before your freeze explodes, then the death cancels most of the damage, and this is why the mid-boss non-spell, which has very little HP, is able to be milked for such a long time.
Yeah, so now we have Sunny who has a lot of attacks to give a big score. Speaking of which, this one. So you can see he is spawn grazing each wave and then freezing it.
As the spell progresses, there's going to be more shots in this attack, so the freezes will be timed a bit later. This
Yeah,
attack
just,
is also roughly aimed towards you, So we'll see if he's doing the correct redirections, which I think he's doing.
Oh no!
You'll notice that,
That's not a good death.
yeah, that's a very costly death.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll notice that he spawn grazing the attack at a specific angle, and then he's freezing it from the same angle that he spawn grazed at. So right there, he spawn grazed it at the bottom right corner of the boss, and then he freezes at the bottom right corner of the screen. That's an intentional part of the route.
Ah, okay. That's something I didn't know. Yeah, that one's an F.
Speaking of suicides and damage, there's most of the damage from like when you do like suicide freezes is gonna come from the death wave, and the death wave is stronger the closer you are. So he's gonna try to do suicides at the bottom of the screen when he does them.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Both the timing of your suicide and the position of it, I mean, how much damage it will cancel.
Yeah. Yes.
But the further away and the better you are timed, more of that optimization you can get in.
And now he has like very few resources, so he's not gonna spend any more here because he's probably gonna need it for his next attack, which is very random.
Yeah,
And,
so this is Diamond Ring.
Yeah, he got a really bad wall there. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
randomly
not
aimed towards you, the opening, and because he got very unlucky, where the opening was way too high, he has to go down and micro these yellow fireballs.
Oh, this is spaghetti right now. Normally you want to be
You could
staying
also-
at the top of the screen the whole time.
When this happens, you could also do a suicide, but it seems like he's playing it quite safe with his resources. Freezing at the
Yeah.
bottom like this, while it lets him survive, it has lower scoring potential than freezing at the side. So being forced to do this loses a bit of points. There's a
And of
couple of
course
ways you can
he's-
approach his spell. The highest scoring way usually is going for these freezes at the top and trying to dodge. And if you can't make the dodges, then you can suicide if you have lives, to be able to still freeze the wave after for full score. But he went for a safety strat here where he doesn't do suicide, but instead opts to escape to the bottom and go for some smaller freezes in case of disaster.
Yeah, he's already had a few unintentional deaths here, so obviously not wanting to risk any more on this first run. Just as soon as I say it, as soon as I say
The
it,
reason, and the reason these players are going to be wanting to keep some motivation in stock, in addition to of course not game over, in which going to be very close in this game, is currently at 121% motivation on Gyouch's. If you reach 0%, you game over, of course, but there's also a clear bonus in the game at the end based on how much motivation you have left, which is 43.1 million if you finish with 1000% motivation, and that's 1 million for each 25% of motivation. So if you're missing one life, you lose 4 million from the clear bonus. So this is why both players are probably going to first play relatively safe, at least to get a score on the board.
yeah, this is what
Yeah.
I'm expecting. And we should.
So-
I just want to emphasize how big the clear bonus is in this game. Both these players' scores are. Cerasis has 114.8 million in this category, and Gyouch has 115 million exactly, pretty much, in this category. So with this clear bonus of 43.1 mil, you want to get that. You don't want to leave that behind.
Score scaling is also very linear in this game since there's no exponential scaling, there's no combos, there's no PIV. You are going to get within a couple of million of your PB on most runs usually.
Yeah,
Usual
usually.
at least.
He's in a pretty
No.
bad spot here
So-
because you'd at least want 2 lives to suicide on his own, or your scoring will be pretty horrible, and he doesn't even have that.
Yeah,
He'll be able
and
to
this-
reach it during the spell, this non, but he'll have to go for a very low scoring route if he wants to continue the run.
Yeah.
He didn't bomb that first wave, that's interesting. That was
Yeah,
some
I think he's just saving the
dangerous
resources. Which is really unfortunate because out of all the spells in the game, I believe this is the highest scoring one, this non right here. Ideally what you
Yeah,
want to
there's
do
also
is freeze all these rings and then bomb to catch the fireballs, which is exactly what Gyouch is doing here.
There's a problem there, which is that boss is limited HP and you'll see that she's already almost dead.
Yeah.
So ideally you would want to use suicides in order to reduce the damage and be able to do more freezes and more bombs, but he didn't opt to do any suicides there, so he lost
Yeah,
a
that's
fair bit.
fair bit of score loss there.
But he's very low on resources, currently at 250% or so, so he will have room for 1 or 2 deaths unintentionally from this point on if he wants to clear with max resources.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to see what Cerasis does on this spell. So there's a suicide there. Now we're going to see a bomb. Just momentarily. See a freeze, and then bomb.
Nice recover.
Solid.
Like Cerasis' resource situation is a fair bit better, so he feels confident going for suicides.
Yeah. And those suicides are very worth it in this.
Oh, Gyouch just got trapped in the corner there.
Oh,
He didn't have his freezes reach to the boss's center, so he wasn't able to spawn Grace, but thankfully the spell ended before he could actually get killed by that.
Yeah.
遅すぎるかも。
So it's not too bad.
大丈夫、ナイス。これは完璧ですね。
Cerasis is great, is getting all the score. Doing this really well right now.
いや、ちょっとでもこれ通したところで勝てないぞ、こんなんじゃ。
Yeah, his score is actually quite high to Gyouch right now, and he actually has resources. Although...
Yeah, Cerasis is like 1.5 minutes behind Gyouch, but he already has more points.
Yeah.
こんなんで勝てて
Yeah.
ない
Unfortunately,
じゃ
this
ない
spell can change the resource count pretty quick if it goes wrong. Because you have to dodge these piss pellets that come out of the lasers, and
安そう、それ。
they're random and pretty hard to see. So
Yeah,
and
the ice
sometimes
gets in the
sometimes the
way.
freeze can go wrong, so there'll be a lot of leftovers in the way to the PB Grace. As you can see, it happens sometimes.
There's also-
but
い
it's
や
going
ー、そ
pretty
こ
well.
は安い。
There's-
300万ぐらい安い。
There's also various ways to freeze the rings on this star mid boss spell. So far, it seemed like either of these players was doing the world record route, I guess.
Cerasis is
Ins-
currently ahead of his PB, I think.
No,
This is
don't
pretty
ask
strong
that.
right now from Cerasis. So yeah, the
Anyway,
final
the thing
boss
with
here.
that
チキってる。だいぶチキってる、だいぶチキってる。73%。
Sorry, Josh, go
73%え
I was gonna talk about the mid boss star spell, but it already passed, so let's handle that on the next run.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we'll
the
get
final
on
boss
Cerasis'
is-
知
screen.
らないんだけど
Yeah. The final boss is going to involve more of these rings. This time they're not spawning fireballs from the wall, so you can actually dodge the leftovers here.
73も
And there's a very specific timing and position you want to hit for these freezes, which right now isn't quite being hit. Ideally, he would want to see freeze sizes of over 500k for each of these freezes after he goes through 2 rings. That was a good
There's
freeze
one,
there.
that's a good one, yep. And you go. Alright, so now this attack. So this attack, I put triple meteor. Doesn't give a whole ton of score, so we can explain this first non here on Cerasis' screen. Which is quite unique.
Yeah, he's going to start inside the boss's hitbox, and you'll notice that when you do this Cernos 8-way shot, firing inside the boss's hitbox for extra damage. And if you do that and you also mash at the same time, instead of pressing C or pressing slowly, 8-way shot actually fires at a far higher fire rate than normally. So you not only are hitting the boss with the 8-way shot in addition to your regular shot, but you also get extra 8-way shots. That enables you to kill that first fairy on the right very quickly.
Yeah, and you want both them out the way so you can start melting the rings.
Yeah, the side fairies only fire lasers, which basically ruin your freezes, so getting rid of the side fairies ASAP is the main priority.
練習中に1回もやったことのないミスをするんじゃないお前。
Yeah, that's a
Gyouch
threat
get into
there.
the second non-spell here. On Grace the charge's eyes here. Get on the right cycle, which he's currently not on.
Yeah, he had an unintentional death there again, unfortunately.
His motivation count is quite low, and I'm not sure if he's gonna milk Ice Dissolver, so if he dies again, it's probably over as far as max motivation clear goes, and if you don't get max motivation clear, then your score is basically a game over as well, so... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might be
essentially.
seeing him reset if he dies
Oh,
again.
no.
800%って感じする。
Seems like he might be finishing this run even though it no longer a chance to max motivation clear.
Yeah, just to get them on the board. Be like, okay, I'm here.
It
I'm
does
here,
look like he's
everything's
milking
alright.
his spell, even though it can be extremely difficult. But he's doing a pretty heavy shot variant, which isn't as dangerous.
Yeah. Which is fair enough given the situation he's in right now. Alright, so now this spell, non here, is a very important one. There's a certain timing you want to use on your bombs here.
You can also do some very high-risk grazing where you spawn graze on the ring that spawns from start, which he just did there, which is very swag.
Very swag. So Sunny's alive, which is very nice.
Yeah, the HP management on this non-spell is very difficult since
Yeah.
all three of the fairies have separate health bars, and none of them are very conductive for doing a good meal club with a lot of shooting, so ideally you want to do this. He tried to go for a spawn graze there, but the bullets were in the way, so he kinda backed out. But he's dying anyway.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
this is not going great.
This is not going too great right now. Meanwhile, Cerasis is on a really strong run, I would say. Well, not really strong, but on a very good run. Yeah, it sounded like a phone call. Alright, so Orion Belt here. You're going to see Gyouch spawn graze Luna here, and then freeze when he's near the bottom of the screen and near the top of the screen.
Yeah, he's gonna want to watch these HP bars, so he's ready to get shot when Luna dies eventually.
Yep. Of course, that would be tragic. We've had enough unintentional deaths in this run already. Please, you don't want any more. Yep, there it is. And so now he's going to instead use Star's bullets to graze and charge up his freeze.
There's some details for how to try to optimize this using just the right part of the pattern. How these bullets are spreading outwards after they have been spread, but that didn't look exactly right.
For the most part,
It's one of
not
these.
getting it.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird spell where you can kind of do the basic strat pretty reliably, but the optimization is fairly obscure. There's a lot of things like this in this route where it just works, or it doesn't, more likely.
Yeah, when you start pushing this game to a very, very high level, there's a lot of tiny little nuances which you start to have to account for.
And like you, he's getting overwhelmed with this non-spell and he took another death. That's unfortunate. He will be missing at least 2 or 3 lives. Gear bonus right now.
And so Fairy Overdrive here. So these fairies start flying about the screen like this, and they follow specifically for this route, they follow a static route. So the players can time their freezes properly.
In this route especially, the freezes won't be that high, but you can milk some motivation from this. Unfortunately, it's not enough to turn this into a max motivation.
Yeah,
Not even
unfortunately.
close.
Just not enough. Just too many unintentional deaths this time around.
Yeah, every freeze that deals damage to these fairies here is going to earn a significant amount of motivation. And right now he's getting trapped at the bottom. You'll see how the bullets speed up as they are falling down, so ideally if you're doing any dodging you want to do it at the top. But it seems like he survived. That was very dangerous.
Yeah. Like, it may seem unintuitive, like why would you dodge something at the top, but it makes sense here. Yeah, it was great dodging, great stuff, great stuff.
In an ideal world you would want to be freezing all of that stuff instead of dodging. Usually on all overdrive variants, the first solution is to freeze and the backup is to dodge.
Okay then, so now the
He got
final
away with the
spell
dodging.
here. So you're gonna see he's gonna get in behind and start shooting and start knocking this down. And he wants to get to the final phase, or the timeout phase. I want to call it that.
And he needs to have 300% perfect freeze for that in order to be able to use all the bombs he wants to.
Yep, but it seems he's going to get that no problem at all.
Yeah, it's kind of close. I think you would want like at least 242%, and he died, so he definitely has 300.
Yeah, definitely has 300 now, but not in the way he would want. Alright, so here we go. So these massive fireball waves, you can bomb 3 of these, get 900k each off of all of them.
So Mr. Cerasis right now is on basically guaranteed PB.
Yeah, Cerasis is on a guaranteed PB. This is a really strong run from Cerasis right now.
Yeah, Even if he dies
He
once,
also-
he'll get 220% motivation from the final spell, which will give him enough.
Yeah, he has an extra life in stock, and he has a very good pace going on.
Yeah.
First off, GG's to Gyouch. Again, his first run. But I believe he's got a lot more in him.
Yeah, he was losing like
Yeah,
16
he's just a
million
lot
or
left.
so
So
out of
let's
the
watch.
game and bonus there, so
Okay.
fortunate.
Alright, so let's watch Cerasis here. Oh my. Cerasis is on a hot run right now.
Yeah, this is definitely far above his PB.
This is way above his PB. This was his what, second attempt going into this?
Yeah, I think
Alright,
he
then
has
on
like
you
one
go.
reset.
Yep. Yeah, he had like one reset and this is it. So he's already at 1,000 motivation. Now he
As
just
soon
needs
as
to get
he
this one over
nails
the
this
line.
final, he's gonna have this in the bag.
Yep. And so moving down to shoot them now. On first wave. Nice. Second wave.
There's a couple of variants of this final pattern you can do. You can freeze 1 or 2 times less or more depending on your preference. Seems like
Yeah.
he's doing it with a couple of fewer freezes.
That's really good.
Yeah, alright, that's a PB for Cerasis there. Great stuff. Oh my god. That's our second score PB on Touhou World Cup, everybody.
A 116.9.
Oh my god, what is this?
Nice 69.
Yeah. Like the battle between Cerasis and Gyouch just keeps going. In A2. Managed to get one. Like it was Gyouch with Gyouch bobbing Cerasis 114, but now Cerasis coming right back with 116. Almost 117, my god.
That's a pretty large PB.
Yeah, that's a very good PB from Cerasis. You love to see it on World Cup, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I love to see it. The record may be 129, but this is a very, very good PB from Cerasis. He should be very happy with himself. Getting that on effectively his first try. But no, we still have 40 minutes of this match to go. We are not done. We are not done at all. I think Cerasis is just having a moment. He's like, oh my god, I got the PB. That quickly.
Yeah. I imagine at least Cerasis might be playing a bit more risky from this point on.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go
couple extra
for.
suicides.
He's gonna go for as much stuff as he can.
Meanwhile, Gyouch is back on the stage 1 mid boss.
Yep, Gyouch is back.
His first non-spell is pretty interesting with these random blue bullets that you get fired at. And then you want to graze this ring that's in front of you right before you freeze to charge your eyes. Looks pretty simple, but there's a fair bit of optimization and instant ronda.
Yeah,
This
it's
movement
not
is also
something.
random, especially the height of bosses, so they can be very high on the screen, which is usually safer and better. Or they can come down low, which is a bit bad. Or they can go hug walls, which is happening right now. Also often not what you want.
Yeah, just because the area builds you can freeze as that's just not as much. Simple as that. Alright then, so lovely final here for Gyouch. Again, using 2 score bombs, just freeze as much of the screen as possible and get all those juicy points. So yeah, this is pretty solid so far. Like the one other thing I want to say about this game is there's no one spell which gives you like 20 million score. It's all strewn all through the run.
Yeah, the scoring potential is very even, and even on things that don't really score that large in freezes, you can still milk for perfect freeze and motivation, which allows you to gain score from the future from that. It's quite well balanced.
Yeah.
If least gonna aim for the one suicide route on the first spell here, so again the goal is 295%. And a pretty good way of doing this now is trying to make every other freeze a damaging one, or a big one rather, and you can like cut back a bit on the every other freeze. To make sure next one's big.
Boss movement here is also quite random. You can try to redirect it with the 1 in 3 chance for the boss to move towards you, and 1 in 3 for it to move away from you. But sometimes the boss will, of course, not play the odds.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't do the route now because he's 1% off
He's
TF, which
1% below of all
very
things. Yeah.
You could still do the route if you did 2 suicides instead of 1, but that might be
he probably won't
a bit above the risk tolerance level.
Yeah, at that point it becomes not worth it, just losing too many lives. Oh, Cerasis for the death of the revenge bullets there. You can also see there's misdirecting all the rain to make sure that the ring of stars that Luna shoots out doesn't end up on top of her and damaging her.
Yeah, that's another spell where HP on the boss is quite limited, and if she takes too much damage from the freezes, end up dying before the timer reaches 0, and then you can't milk for more freezes and you are very sad.
Yeah, then it is sad when that happens, because you want to get those score bombs, because they're pretty much freezing the entire screen with them.
This first spell looks really easy, by the way, but it's crazy hard to optimize. You can also do some non-damaging freezes, but I don't think either player was going for that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't seen one.
If bosses die early, not only do you not get to use bombs and freezes, but due to how the resource system works, you also don't get to milk extra motivation and extra perfect freeze, so you also lose some of your resources for the future. Everything goes wrong if you don't get to do your freezes in this game.
Yep. Freezing is just so important. Like it gives you lives, it gives you bombs, it gives you your shot power, and of course it gives you score.
That's the biggest thing about possible accidental deaths in this game as well. It's when you die, the entire screen gets cancelled, free of bullets. And you can't freeze while you're dead, of course. How much score you lose directly from a death depends on how many freezes or potential freezes you lose from the death. In some cases, if you're losing a 500,000 freeze because you died, then it's a very costly death, but if you lose 0 freezes because you died, then it's a much more manageable one.
Yeah, you can get on okay with that. Alright, so back on the way back here for Gyouch.
Yeah, so like a non like this, it would be pretty inconsequential if he died, especially with his resource count.
Like, you don't want to die, obviously, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's extremely lenient on occasions. He died pretty quick here. It should still be fine.
Yeah, it should okay.
If
Your side shooting isn't quite perfect here.
Yeah, he's not ice grazing that well either. You can actually do this like without shooting at all, but besides the initial like Z press that you do.
Yeah, it's very different. Although it's extremely difficult to do that. Oh, Cerasis
It depends on what height the boss is at. And you kind of have to read the bullets too, to try and get the right opening where you can get that safe surf across the freeze.
Having to push to go to the corner there. Alright, so big attack now. Big fireball rings.
Random boss movement can also kind of screw you over on this one.
Yep.
Ideally, the boss would just always move away from you and take 0 damage from the freezes.
It's not
But
happening
they
right
can
now,
also
though.
choose not to do that.
Alright, getting away with it now, though.
Because you're alternating freezes,
Even on
like, alternating suicides, you can go for like a very risky and big freeze on freeze for a suicide, but on the non-suicide freezes, you have to be very careful of removing.
And so
Even on the freezes where you suicide, there's actually a small impact on how much damage she takes depending on her movement, since the suicide doesn't fully cancel the damage from the freeze, but only cancels most of it, so Makes the difference between the boss taking literally no damage if she moves away from the freeze while you suicide versus taking his sliver, which does make a difference on that non-spell when it adds up.
Yeah, there's also the death wave. The closer you die to Lily, the more damage it's gonna take.
Yeah, that's just how the death waves work in Touhou in general.
Yeah. But for the most part, in most games, it's not something you ever have to think about.
Yeah, but because her health, her HP on that attack is just so low, it's something you want to take into consideration.
Yeah, that's one of the major quirks of this game, I suppose, that the amounts of HP the bosses have are very small compared to the timers. Compared to a lot of other Touhou games where a bit more balanced. In this game, if you're playing for survival, you can kill most attack in like less than 10 seconds. Conversely, for a score, you have to work quite hard not to kill them too early while you're trying to milk in the timeout.
And believe me, it's very easy to kill them.
Yes,
unintentionally.
Freeze deals massive damage if it connects fully with the boss hitbox, so you don't want to see that.
Yeah,
Seems like Gyouch isn't going for a full milk on Sunny's first non-spell. You can milk it the timeout, but it's pretty difficult, so you just not to do that, I suppose.
Yeah. Very difficult, and it doesn't lose you too much if you drop it from your route, so that's okay. So it's okay. Because this spell, Prism Flash, gives you a whole lot. You can see all these freezes just covering the whole screen.
He missed part of the spawn race there, so he didn't have 100% charge for his eyes, which reduced the score potential.
Yeah, I missed one.
Yeah, but thankfully he recognized that he made a mistake, so he stalled his freeze a bit longer and managed to spawn race the next one.
Got no problem. Oh, he missed one there. He missed that. Yeah, forced to kill it. Didn't have a choice.
He has a lot more resources than last time, so he can probably put in 2 suicides on his own.
Yeah, he probably can. There's one of them.
I forgot how many.
That grace there was done with iframes. There's quite a lot of iframes after you die in this game with no visual indicator, but a couple of seconds. So you can just fly into bullets after you've died immediately.
You haven't just charged up your freeze to max.
You'll notice that these bullet waves that spawn from Sunny get more frequent as this non-spell progresses, so the timings at which you freeze, how you have to charge and suicide, they change over time.
Diamond Ring playing really nasty right now.
Seems like he isn't suiciding on Diamond Ring yet, but this amount of lives he might want to. Being forced to go down like this does let you stay alive, but you hate to see the scoreless.
Yeah, he's getting very few points here.
Yeah, this is not a great Diamond Ring right now. But that first wave of it was particularly nasty. It was like all over the place.
I think he should be suiciding here with this amount of lives if he got an impossible wave. So he can still keep doing these freezes at the top. While he's keeping lives by going to the bottom like this, the scoreless is just very large.
Yeah. Normally these freezes are about, I believe, 500k, one off of them.
Yeah, they can go up to 600k or something depending on the luck and execution, but when you freeze from the bottom they get reduced very significantly.
Yeah, like you saw, they were about 200, maybe 300k, if you were lucky. Yeah.
Suicide routing and how you use your suicides is another big optimization point in this game.
Yeah, it's a massive
Especially in A2, there's very many viable points where you can suicide for scoring A2. Which you can double into kind of increasing your consistency, like on Diamond Ring, if you suicide after getting an impossible wave, then you of course will be able to freeze the next wave every time. But you have to suicide soon enough that you don't cancel any spawning rings from the next wave, so you have to kind of commit to your decisions if you're going to do a suicide. Do the suicide very quickly. You can't just like try to dodge and then the dodging fails, do a suicide as a backup. If you do that, you're going to end up cancelling bullets from your incoming wave, and then the freeze won't be good on that one.
You're on a pretty good run. Not quite as strong as Cerasis, I think, but still pretty good.
His resource count is on point, so
Yeah.
Can definitely do some good things with stars mid on this time.
Definitely, the Diamond Ring. Diamond Ring not going too well. Definitely hurt though. Definitely lowering his score potential.
It does look like it's kind of part of his route to never suicide on Diamond Ring.
Yeah,
he might not be considering it. So this is probably a pretty normal scenario for him.
It's probably pretty normal. The score is quite a bit, like, a little bit lower than his PB right now, though.
Let's see how he wants to approach the suicides on the mid-boss non-spell. There's a couple of ways you can use suicides on this.
I think that was an early death on Blue Black there. Unintentional.
He's currently at 300% PF, so he would want to bomb this first wave, and he does that. And then he would want to, in theory, suicide the second wave, but we don't know what his actual route is here. Yeah, he's going to suicide the second wave.
Oh man,
and he's going to use the iframes to be able to go through the ring there. So the suicide he did, while the boss was in a position where she could go hug the wall. Then when she did hug the wall, due to bad luck, he was able to use the iframes after respawn through the ring. Make it safe in that difficult position. It's an important detail of this mid-boss non-spell. The players want to suicide when she's 2 and 4 positions where she can move into the wall. Which she's doing right now.
Yeah, and just so she doesn't take that damage. Or less damage at least. Yeah, that death was not good.
Anyway, you'll see that these lasers on this mid-boss spell are aimed, so there's quite a bit of optimization that you can do, redirecting them into the right direction so they don't cut into your freeze as much, or result in as much pellets spawning in your face.
Of course, both of those being very, very bad.
Yeah. You can also kind of do this both ways. You see how the hero here is going up, then he's backing down before he freezes. You can also do a variant of this route where you go down and then you move up before you freeze, which is the word record route. But that one is that was a bit trickier to land. So I think these players are both going for the kind of easier version.
Also, I must say, I'm not sure what happened with Cerasis. I kind of missed what happened when he reset.
He killed Lily Black too early.
Oh, was that just there? Oh, that's a shame. And with the pace he's on, with the running has to beat now, he obviously needs everything he can get. If he's going to improve his score.
The Lily Black third non-spell is a very big reset point if you want to ensure a good run. Yeah. Especially if you want to play risky, since past a certain point it gets worth it to just basically gamble. Roll the dice on whether she will move away from your freeze or not, and freeze in an aggressive way that assumes that she will jump away from the freeze, and if you go for that gamble and she doesn't cooperate, then your run can die.
Yeah, your run can just die right there and then.
You can play it safe, but that really limits the scoring potential, so he might be taking quite large risks there after that previous PB.
And so this is actually
Gyouch getting to the final boss again. Let's see him get inside Luna's skirt here. He's using the portraits during the dialogue to position himself. He was slightly too low there. You see his 8-way shot wasn't actually hitting the inside of Luna at the start, so he didn't quite get this setup right, but he corrected it with a tap after, so he still got the kill.
Yep, so killed it fast enough.
Oh, he accidentally shot down Sunny there. There's one mechanic we haven't talked about yet, which is frozen items. When you kill bosses that have items, or stage enemies with the freeze, point items they drop get frozen and are auto-collected for maximum value. Them being frozen also quadruples the score value to, like, I don't actually know how much is it 4,000 points per item at that point?
Yeah, I believe so.
Anyway, that's how you collect most of the score items in this game. You just freeze the enemies that drop them and they get auto-collected, so basically no POC around anything.
Yeah, very, very little POC in this. Alright, let's see what Gyouch can do here. Basically just having a pause after that first that unintentional death on Luna. So triple meteor, you just want to stream this back and forth using freezes to
ジャンキャン
restream.
待ってたら2-4勝負しますちゃんと
This
It's
spell doesn't have
also a-
too much score potential.
2-3潰すし 2-4
There's also a way to optimize this a bit if you want to shoot less per cycle, so even if it's a timeout, get more PF, more motivation. Then there's a high level strat where you can actually make the freeze connect with the main boss here, Stars of Fire. You use the suicide bullets from both of the side fairies. So you can do this where you leave both of the side fairies alive until the very end, and then you trigger both of their suicide bullets at the same time, and then the suicide bullets, like you see right now, these big jelly beans, they form a bridge that makes the freeze connect with the boss. Then you kill the boss
まあまあいいでしょう
with a freeze connecting like that to get frozen items for like, it's a very difficult optimization for maybe 100k more points. I don't think either player will go for. But there is the option of doing that if I was tempted.
If there is the option,
they've
it
learned
is
it.
there.
Also, speaking of shooting earlier, there's if you actually hit like two bosses at the same time, you
死ぬかな
get like basically double ice charge.
Oh yeah, that's an important
Yep,
distinction
that's
with
the
the stage enemies as well.
Well,
The ice
yeah.
charge that you get for shooting enemies and bosses comes from each team that you're hitting. So if you're hitting 2 bosses, you get 2 shots being hit worth of ice charge. If you're hitting 3 bosses, then you get
Oh, having a
freeze
rough
worth
time
and
of
so
it.
forth.
Gyouch having a rough time of it here right now. Seems like he's recovering okay.
There's also a bit of a magic
Yeah, he's still
pixel
got.
on certain like power levels where you can get double the double charge just by hitting this magic pixel on the side of bosses.
Ah, really? Really, really?
言うて残機余ってんな
And just getting the freeze off. Times his bomb.
He's gonna want to suicide here,
Yep, there
right
it is.
there, so he gets this big freeze without doing too much damage to the side fairies in the rear. Longest they stay alive, the more score he can get from this. Right now, one of them is dead, so the score potentially starting to get a bit limited.
Yeah.
Looks like he's not going to go for another
Yeah.
suicide.
He gets another bomb here.
ナイス
Fine
He
itself.
had that unintentional death, 2 unintentional deaths. One on second on and one on ice dissolver.
He's well on pace for
Depending on
max
how he
motivation,
execute it.
but
Yeah, he's
he's
well
probably
on
gonna
pace.
he's probably gonna
Yeah, depending
play
on
it safe.
depending on how his motivation is optimized. Depending on how his motivation is optimized, he could have room for 2 unintentional deaths or 1.
ああ2-4勝負はしたくなくなってきたなでも
Yeah, I think he's got room. I think he had room for both of them.
最低限最低限
Just get these freezes on the Ryan belt, just taking out the entire screen. It's all
最低限と
it's
か
almost like a
勝てない
rhythm
んだよな相手が強すぎるいくらなん
where
で
you
も
just follow the fairies to the top of the screen, freeze, follow the fairies to the bottom, freeze. Just do it again and again. Did a really nice job of it right now.
いやなんかでもこうセラシス様も
If he
こう
gets the
永遠にね
optimizations on
やって
these
くださったんです
freezes.
よね
Oh, I heard Gyouch
本来
talking
な
about
ら
his
俺 H でや
freezes
るべきな
right
んだ
there.
けどさ
I think he
永遠
knows
や
that
って
he's
くれるんですよね
I think he knows that he's gotten a PB. He knows what he's up against.
いやその期待に応えないのは無作法というもの
Gyouch is very capable of 116 though. He's capable of 117, I would say.
いやこれ最
You're
初にやって
also
みたら
throws slightly smaller at the end of that third spell there. That's so he can capture it with the final freezes damage before it times out. Have to do that final one a bit sooner.
That's what you want to do on these. Yeah,
He's
just
also
those
doing
throws
some
angles.
YOLO ice grazes on this fourth non-spell, where he rushes forward to graze the spawning wave after freezing, which is very risky, and actually I'm pretty surprised to be seeing it at this scoring level. It's pretty difficult to do and pretty risky, but
Yeah, very risky.
If you can get it-
he's going up here and grazes the ring that's coming down to charge up his freeze.
Actually-
Oh, that's not good.
actually I think that's
Wait, that
might
is
be a slight mistake to go for that, since he has these extra lives, so he could instead be just suiciding, using the suicide to make these
Yeah.
freezes.
yeah. Okay, I
for
think
a
I
high
was
scoring,
suicide
but-
actually. Never mind me.
Yeah,
He's got
one or
plenty
two
of both.
suicides there would have been good to do.
Yeah.
Since when you use Suicide there, you have the iframes after you use Suicide to basically trivialize the next wave, and then you can use that safety to set up a really big freeze. Much safety.
Oh.
It
Have the
needs
With
to
the
dodge
random
die
boss
here.
movement. Yeah, he needs to start surviving. It doesn't seem like his motivation optimization is at the point where he can get an extra
Yeah,
life anymore.
definitely not.
If he
Nah,
dies from this
not
point
there.
on, he will not be happy.
Yeah, he won't be happy, no way. Oh wow, that was a very strange wave of fireballs. I haven't made it out.
This is one part of the game where the motivation optimization really starts adding up too, since very high level you can do tons of damage and freezes on these side fairies and
Oh,
overdrive,
that was
but
a very scary dodge there.
he isn't able to freeze so frequently, so he's not getting quite as much motivation, and he also has to dodge more. Kind of weird where you go for a very high level overdrive where you do a lot of freezes, you barely have to do any dodging, but then your freezes have to be extremely tight and you have to do a bunch of aggressive grazing to charge your eyes, things like that.
Yeah, you have to get
kinda-
everything right.
You kind of have to pick your poison, you can do it with more dodging, which is dangerous in its own way, or you can go for the aggressive freezing, which is also pretty nice.
So I think this run's going to finish with about 114 mil, I think? Roughly?
Yeah, something about
Yeah.
if
Assuming
he
he can
nails
pull
this
this off
final.
correctly. Which I think he will be able to.
Slightly mistimed that freeze there allowed some of those fireballs to spawn.
Yeah.
He wants to freeze it at this specific time so that when the regular bullets are being turned into fireballs, everything on the screen is frozen at that point, so nothing gets to turn into a fireball.
Okay,
He
he's
nailed
moving
it
down
there,
here.
now he
Right,
just has this.
through his bombs. Gets one.
あ、やべえ、やりすぎたかも。
Great, nice.
Oh, he's
he
dodging
dodged-
before he does the bombs.
生きろ
He
There's
just wants
a
as
variant
much
of
as he
this-
can.
There's a variant of this pattern you can do where you freeze in between these bombs in order to make this a lot safer, which is what I use.
Yep.
Since in this
I
route there's so many bullets here that even if you delete some bullets in advance, Probably
Not
don't get
quite
a huge
114,
freeze, but-
but 113.
yeah, it's
High
pretty close to his
130.
PB.
Yeah, GG's. GG's again.
Yeah, GG. You got pretty good bombs at the end there.
ちょっとわかんない。
Two really strong Very Wars runs today, everybody.
See how Cerasis is doing. Will he get past the mid boss this time? Seems like he's not resetting, so he might have gotten a pretty good one.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, that's a fairly good score. 17 coming out of that. Yeah, the final
I'm
boss
interested
fight
in
is
seeing
like
what kind of suicide route Cerasis will opt to do with these resources he's got. But a fairly high amount of lives here, so
yeah,
and
I
have
feel
the
like
option to
solid
suicide
lives.
at various places on Sunny Milk. So far we haven't seen any Diamond Ring suicides. Maintain maximum score potential across part RNG that would force you to either dodge or die. Dodge at the bottom and lose score, or die and keep scoring. Oh, he
Oh,
took
that's
an
not
intentional death there.
intentional.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate time to die, but he didn't lose any freezes from that, so it's not the worst.
That's not the end of the
Means
world.
he'll have,
but-
he'll have some less lives in stock for Sunny Milk after this.
いや、ちょっとそんな数字出してくるとは思わんかったな、正直。
Yeah, it is a far. Just keep the audio right here.
Previously Gyouch wasn't going for a full milk on this first non-split Sunny Milk. We'll see if Cerasis is going for that.
It does
I
look
hope
like
so.
he's...
Like Cerasis is attempting a full milk.
Yeah, definitely.
Side shooting here isn't quite optimal, but it doesn't have to be, but helps of course if you can deal a bit less damage while charging this ice. We have more room to do damage in ices later. I remember that damage in ices on this non-spell can score quite a bit more, and of course you can motivation from those as well, but he's playing it a bit safer where he's doing the ices all non-damaging. Oh, he mistimed the bomb, that's unfortunate. That was a 200k bomb, you hate to see it.
Yeah. At least his passing reflexes are on point.
The rage pauses in tow. A fixture of any match, any player, I think. The one universal constant, no matter what game you play, no matter what difficulty, what you're doing. That's just how it is.
looks to me like Cerasis' approach on this first spell is not quite as refined as Gyouch's.
It's still plenty good though.
Yeah, and there's of course plenty of luck factors in this one as well, with how the bullets decide to spread and either give you a great freeze or not give you a great one. Like that one being a shit. It was also frozen a bit late, but you hate to see a spread like that. Let's see how many times he wants to suicide on this second spell here.
Yeah, I'll see how many he wants to go
He has a
for.
fair amount to gain here. He might also conserve his lives, have more lives to suicide them away on Diamond Ring. Oh, he missed the fireballs he was trying to suicide on the, but he then found another fireball. That's another thing that can happen in this game. You're trying to kill yourself, but the fireball dodges you, and then you are just scrambling to find something to die on before your freeze explodes.
Yeah.
And in the worst case, you manage to suicide after your freeze explodes, so you don't get any of the damage controlling effects.
Well, that was a rough wave, but he just made it through. Aye,
Going well so far on Diamond Ring.
Yep.
He should suicide this way. No, he wanted to dodge it.
Oh, okay.
If he...
He's getting through.
Okay. The
This
next
one is a
one.
suicide.
Yeah, this one's a suicide.
Or going to the bottom.
No, he's
Oh, he
still
didn't suicide, he
dodging.
went to the bottom.
Okay.
Now he should suicide. Oh no, he's going to the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the way these players are doing Diamond Ring with no suicide. Hashtag triggered. Going to the bottom like this is very swag, but... it's very swag and it's very difficult, but... it also just compromises your scoring potential over simply taking a suicide in situations like this.
Yeah,
Got the
especially
record
because they're
holder.
not doing
Sorry.
they're not cutting through the rings very fast, so they're losing even more from that. So if you're going to the bottom, you have to make sure you do it fast so you don't miss out on future score.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you can get to the top fast enough after you cut through the bottom wave, then you can do it without losing score, but for it to score as high as simply suiciding to skip the wave, you need to be suicidally fast about it. And Cerasis had plenty of swag and speed there, but they're not quite perfect for score.
And potential death there from Cerasis. You want to do one suicide on the spell? It's a
If you
nice
go
ball
down to the
close
bottom
out.
on Diamond Ring, it's pretty likely, if you're not fast enough, you'll probably stay at the bottom for the rest of the spell, unless you suicide.
Yeah, since the openings on Diamond Ring are aimed towards your position, so if you're not at the side at the top, freezing, when the first ring of Diamond Ring spawns, it's very likely that the opening will show up not at a position that is dodgeable from the side, and then you have to suicide to reset it or go to the bottom again and again.
Yeah.
I of course recommend the suicide, but it seems like these players don't like suicide on Diamond Ring.
I wonder why. You're making it sound like it's a good option. I'll make it I'll say that much.
Yeah, it really depends on how you want to use your suicides in this route. You'll notice how Cerasis before suicided on the third spell of Stunning Milk, for example. But that same suicide in terms of resources could be done on Diamond Ring as well, which is right before that attack, right? You know, you're not going to cap your perfect trees. So that suicide, you could do it on the third, or you could do it on Diamond Ring. If you're doing it in Diamond Ring, if you're doing it on Diamond Ring in a way that lets you recover score potential from that and add extra safety on a risky wave, then you gain more from the suicide in terms of score, basically, over doing it on the third non-spell. But that's fairly high level thinking that at these levels of score are probably not relevant yet.
Yeah, not required just yet for these players. Like I would say like above 120 mil, if you want to start thinking about that, maybe.
Yeah.
But not like this is low level scoring. This is high level scoring we've seen today.
Yeah, Cerasis is doing some pretty swag moves.
Yeah, he is. On this dawn, which again is the one attack which gives you the highest.
He didn't have
score
enough
in the game.
PF, so he was waiting for the freeze to give him the PF he needed for the bomb. That's why he was so late just now.
Yeah, he just
Just
barely got it in
short.
time.
Yeah, which is, of course, not optimal at all.
Yeah.
That's another thing that could be fixed with some different suicide routing earlier in the game.
That's what we mean by those pellets. They can just spawn on top of you inside the ice. They're really hard to see. They can
Yeah,
just destroy
the
you like
visibility
that.
is horrible on those since the bright yellow pellets on top of white ice.
Yeah.
Anyway, with the PS shortage that Cerasis experienced that's another thing that kind of more optimized suicide routing can help with. If you, for example, did one more suicide on 90-second non-spell, that could get you up to 45% more perfect freeze. If you have that in stock, then that can carry over all the way to that stage 3 mid-boss non-spell, and then you don't have a shortage. Things like that can start up adding over the course of the run.
It's just those little optimizations just can give you that one extra bomb later on. It can really help out. So we've got less than 10 minutes left, reset time left. We will see.
Yeah, seems like Gyouch is still stuck in stage 1.
Yeah. Honestly, even if we don't see another run finished, both players can be very happy with the performance, I think. 2 very strong runs, especially Cerasis getting a really nice PB today.
I think that on Twitter, Gyouch was saying that he was aiming for a 110 million for TWC, so I think he might already have met his goal with this 130 he has on the boards.
Yeah, I think he can be very, very happy with himself, no matter what happens now.
I think it's also less than a week ago since he got his first max motivation clear, so...
Oh really? I didn't know that. Like, all I saw was on Thursday, he got 115. As a score that you can see on the top left of Gyouch's screen.
Because
yeah, I believe like 4 days ago he posted on Twitter he got his first 1000 person motivation clear.
Yeah, and that was, that's a reset right away.
115 PB might have been his second 1000 person motivation clear, or third or something like that.
Quitting out of the game there to avoid the infamous GFW soft lock. And believe me, we don't want to see that on World Cup. That would be a disaster.
Cerasis is getting a 440k on that freeze there.
Yeah,
didn't quite get the exact optimizations.
Yeah.
You would want to see a 500. You would want to see a 520k or something here, if the optimization was ideal.
502, not too bad.
But it's kind of tricky to get these freezes positioned and time just right. It also depends on the boss's position how you want to optimize these, so it's quite tricky. And of course you also have to get through the bullets first in order to have the opportunity to freeze, so there's a lot of things to focus on.
Not perfect, but still pretty good.
On the very last freeze there on the first non-spell, he also froze it slightly earlier for a faster spread. It's during that freeze the bullets are going to start to be cancelled, so you want that last freeze to be spreading a bit faster so it catches the bullets before they are cancelled, and he nailed that one.
Yep, nailed it just fine.
It's like Cerasis is going for a bit more milking on this first spell than Gyouch.
Yeah.
He's keeping the side fairies alive for longer so they can fire more bullets and give you more freezes.
Yeah, you can tell he's doing most of his shooting in the middle too, so he hits multiple fairies for like even damage distribution and more eye charge.
Yeah, he doesn't have to shoot as many times if he's doing it in the center and hitting multiple targets. And you see there how that freeze climbed up when he froze the suicide bullets. In the high level strat you can use that climb to finish the spell with a freeze that collects frozen items from star and get some extra motivation, but neither player is going for that, which is... It's pretty YOLO first to do the freeze in the first place.
What was that? That was
yeah,
a
that was an unfortunate hit.
Very unfortunate and very strange death from Cerasis there. Oh man.
Yeah, the suicide bullets are aimed directly at you, there's nothing random about them, so if you get hit like this...
Very odd, very unusual death from Cerasis there.
Time for the international choking sign.
Yeah. I mean, Cerasis can be comfortable. Can be comfortable if he knows he's got a really strong run that's above Gyouch's PB, but it still stings. Oh, he doesn't even bother, he's just like, nope, I'm out. See you later.
Yeah, his scoring potential in the run was lower compared to his previous run entering the final boss, and then he took his deaths, so I guess he was just...
He's just like, alright, time to go. Time to go back. But yeah, both players still have a Luna fight to reset on, so get a good one.
With the amount of timer he had left as well, it's possible that if he chose to finish that run, he would have run out of reset time during it, so if he wanted to reset, he probably had to If he wanted to do another run after that, he probably had to reset there.
Yeah,
Instead of
he would've
finishing.
Definitely.
yeah, definitely would have had to reset, which makes sense.
So that's probably what he was doing during the pause, checking his timer to see if he has enough time to finish this and do another, or if he has to reset now if he wants to do one more.
Yeah,
Then
just
he
looking at his time.
decided to reset.
Just looking at his clock
Good
and
choice.
realizing, yep, I might have got to go back.
I believe so far neither player has gone for suicide on Luna's first spell, where Gyouch is right now. We'll see if either of
I
them
think I did
decides to do
see
it.
one from Gyouch. I think I did see one.
He's going for it, he would go for the suicide right now on this wave.
Yeah, it's not happening this time.
Yeah, he's not
Doesn't
going
have
for
enough.
it.
Doesn't have enough perfect trees. I think just gets the ice cold out though. Still very nice.
His second non-spell is really dangerous. He's going for some short milking that just 2 freezes. Mostly just playing it for survival.
Yeah, just
You can try to milk that attack the timeout, but it's very difficult with the random bullets.
yeah. You want to kind of stream the random bullets roughly, but they can still get you very easily.
Seems like these freezes on Luna's final spell are a bit off here on your stream.
Just
There's
a
some
little
weird-
bit. Well, now
There's
it's
some
definitely
weird stuff
off.
you can do here to kind of redirect these aim bullets and match them with these spreading curved lasers in a way that makes it spread better, but difficult to land.
Yeah, difficult to land, and these sorts of small optimizations not overly important in a live setting like this.
Oh, he didn't get the 30% these opening fairies. If you really get this freeze optimized, you can get a 30% on both of those random opening fairy freezes, but you have to hold out a bit longer and try to
Yeah, you just have to.
half skill, half luck freeze.
Yep. That's obviously, of course, very dangerous with the amount of bullets flying about the screen.
That freeze there on the knives could have also been a 30% if the execution was exactly right, but
Yeah, so
I
right
missed
now
it
it's
by
dropping.
0.12%.
Dropping
That
past
one also
freeze
can
right
be a
now.
30%. But these stage 2 stage freezes are actually very difficult to optimize. There can be several 30% here, but they are very easy to miss, either due to slightly run execution or even bad luck some cases.
Alright, we'll see what kind of Lunatic range races can go for here. As he still has time to do this spell. Like, this Lunatic Rain will decide if he resets or not here. Oh, well, never mind. I think he's just gonna go back now. Alright, so that's probably most likely going to be Cerasis' last reset. And this is probably going to be Gyouch's last reset as well. Provided this Lily final goes well. He does have time to see it through.
Yeah, Gyouch should have time to do this final part of the mid boss here, and then decide if he wants to reset or not.
Yep, should just be able to squeeze it in. Alright then. On suicide. Goes to the fireballs. In. Oh, wait,
Good luck
nice.
there on the first movement
Yep.
from Lily Black.
Not too great on that one. That one
That
was
was
fine.
really good.
Very nice.
He moved away, dude, that's good.
That one's okay.
Or he did a mistake there. That final one he actually should have done closer to the boss, since the boss had enough HP at that point to survive a full damage increase. So that very
wow,
final
this
one,
game.
if she has that much HP, yeah, the HP kind of varies. If you get that kind of luck he got there, or execution where she has nearly full HP at the end, you can go for a full damage increase on purpose. To get the biggest possible freeze and a bit extra motivation, but he didn't notice the opportunity there. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to adapt on the fly to how much HP the boss ends up having, which is very random.
Oh no, that's unintentional death. Is he going to reset off of that? He has time. Nope, I don't think he's gonna keep going. I think he's just gonna keep going. He's gonna take it. Oh my god, that was terrifying. Just grazing the ring. Almost.
Yeah, taking the death after
Right,
he
so
froze
that's it. Reset time is over.
Was a good time to take the unintentional death. If he died before freezing, then he would have lost the freeze, but since he did it after, he didn't lose that much.
Yeah, so...
But he did go off route, which resulted in this really interesting situation.
So yeah, we are on our final run, everybody. No more resets now.
Slightly mistimed the bomb on Gyouch there. He didn't get the full size.
Oh no.
Bullets had gone off screen partially. It's a bit low on lives as well. I think Gyouch took an unintentional death on the mid boss and then an unintentional one on the stage section, so he's a bit low on lives.
Should still be able to make it through though.
Another unintentional hit.
That was definitely unintentional from Gyouch there. Alright, Cerasis, please no silly unintentional death on person on this time. You've only got one run left. This is all you've got. Alright, come on, come on. Oh, I missed all those bullets at the bottom left.
Gyouch on the first spell of Sunny right now.
Yeah.
This spell is one of the few in the game where you actually want the boss to go hug the wall if possible, so you have more space between you and the boss.
Yeah, so you can freeze later.
Generally helps, yeah. Yeah, freezing later and having more safety room as well to dodge away. Being super close to the boss with how this spread, like he was right there, can be.
Yeah, oh my god.
Really dangerous. Could have gotten trapped there, but the bullet spread nicely.
Very good. Oh, that one was a very terrifying last wave, but he was just able to shoot it down. Get out of the way.
And he got the early freeze on the final wave there as well.
Yep.
Since the spell is timing out during it, you have to do that a bit earlier, so it has time to spread before the bullets get...
Can't tell.
Or they vanish. They give up the ghost after they time. Seems like Cerasis isn't going for the first spell suicide. Other player seems to be going for that today.
Yeah, nobody seems to be.
Quite sad actually, because it's a very high scoring one.
Yeah, it was a very high scoring Luna there.
Yeah, you gain over 1 million points for doing that suicide on Luna's first spell.
Oh, makes it back up. Let's see what the RNG is. Oh, horrible RNG. No room to get through.
And now he's being forced to the bottom and he has to do this slowly, so he is going to have his score potential drastically.
Yeah.
Unless he does that very YOLO dive, that was very good.
Yeah, that was very good.
But he still wasn't able to get through fast enough to make the next wave doable.
Yep. He's still getting most of it, which is quite good. Oh my god, this is...
Oh. Might look big, but these freezes are pretty horrible actually.
Yeah.
He's bleeding points.
Yeah, he is bleeding points.
Yeah.
The fact that he's able to get most of it
is pretty rough here, but
it's fine now.
I think they are pretty evenly matching their suicide rush actually, in that both of them are doing not the optimal suicide, let's say.
Yeah, I watched their both their replays before this, and they're about the same. The routes are pretty much identical. Only very minor differences.
Let's see if Gyouch is able to get frozen items from the spell. Doesn't look like he's able to. Or is he? No, he wasn't able to reach the boss with the freeze at the end. Get the kill with the ice, get the frozen items for a bit of extra points. Boss moves randomly there, as on many other things, so sometimes it can be a bit difficult to reach her. Since those bullets rotate towards you with the fireballs at a constant height, but the boss can go high or low depending. So you can reach her with ease, so she's going to be high and on the other side where you can't really get to her.
Yeah, and sadly that's just how it is. Like, I'm looking at this run, let's see. Get a little handy guide here. This is currently The pace he's on is currently below his PB right now. So
Yeah, the
it seems like
diamond ring was
China
quite
is,
unfortunate.
yeah, seems like China has got their win here.
Also kind of low on motivation on Gyouch,
Yeah,
so
his motivation's very low.
he might be
I
through
think
here.
Gyouch just saying like, try my best, give it everything, but not this time.
Yeah, he probably...
Yeah, he's
Oh,
probably
mistimed the bomb on Cerasis there. He didn't get the full size.
yeah. And messes up the freeze
Let's
there
see if
too.
he gets past it.
Yeah, this is probably
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, Lily Black is giving horrible luck right now.
Yeah,
She moved
really
into the
terrible.
first risky freeze, so...
Got that one though.
And she keeps
Oh, she
doing it
went
badly.
right into it. Oh, terrible.
Oh,
And you
it's
see
barely
that-
actually.
You see that even though he did the suicide because the boss dove into the freeze, she took a lot of more damage. Almost died just from that, even after the damage mitigation from the suicide.
Yeah,
That was
so
terrible luck.
dropped a lot of score.
Oh, that's an unfortunate hit. He was just
Yeah.
about to bomb there as well. So because of that, he had to do this backup bomb, which was quite small. He's missed 2 bombs right now. Russ is looking great.
Yeah, shame. But he's probably going to, finish out this run.
Yeah,
Doesn't
probably.
doesn't quite look like he's figured out the knife rings yet.
Yeah,
he
big
had them.
rough.
He had them down properly. He just, I don't know. I think he's just, maybe he's realizing that he's managed to get the win.
I don't think Cerasis ever did them really well, but Gyo was.
Yeah. Seems like he did them
Yeah.
really well in his PB though.
Yeah, Skio has had a better time in the knife rings from what I've seen. A pretty tricky section where you want to fall back down on the screen to go for the 30% freeze.
Yeah.
Is at just the right time with the setup and then rush back to spawn grace after that. You have to move back and forth a lot, so timings are quite tight.
So Gyouch going for these big freezes on Star right now.
He should have enough motivation to go for up to 3 suicides here if he opts.
Yep, he should do. Yep, there's one of them.
Now he can iframe through this ring here.
Yep.
After his suicide. He's
Freezing
specifically
ball.
doing this freeze, and he's doing that freeze in a way that didn't damage the boss specifically in order to conserve HP.
Yeah, the freeze.
I think he's doing too many of those though. You do want to do a non-damaging freeze or 2 in this pattern, but doing as many as he did here
She
loses
has a
some score
lot.
since
She
you
has a
see-
lot of excess HP as well, so
Yeah.
motivation is gonna lack a bit.
And the way motivation
easily gone for
optimization
more.
in this game works is if you deplete the boss's entire health bar using freezes, then you get the most motivation, and if you don't, you're gonna get less, so he lost like 2 or 3 freezes for the motivation there by doing
Oh no.
too many non-damaging freezes.
Everybody loves those pellets, don't they?
Yeah, the spell is just hell.
Yeah, the spell is just RNG. It's just like Diamond Ring, where you just have to pray for RNG, pretty much. Have to freeze early, because that pellet was coming up on it. Gets in. Still pretty solid overall, though.
This spell is one of the worst places to die in the run since spell bonus on this one is quite large. And of course with every death, the bullet cancel from your death cancels some of the rings on the next cycle, so you die, your next freeze is getting screwed over. And a lot of scoreless for even one death there.
Yeah, it just hurts. It just
Between
hurts
that
to
and the
see.
mistakes earlier in the run, it's probably not possible for Gyouch to improve his TWC score anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get above 113 with this run, unfortunately.
Let's see how Cerasis will get through
Yeah,
Diamond Ring.
let's
He's
see
getting
Diamond
good.
Ring. Gets
He's
good
getting
RNG
good
on
luck
the
right
first
now.
one. Very bad. Oh, just makes it. Right there.
If he froze a bit early there in order to make it possible, that's something you
Yeah.
can do. If you freeze earlier, you can get a smaller freeze. But of course, since you freeze earlier, you can start moving unfocused and you can make some dodges that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. But the trade-off between safety and score there as well.
Yeah.
He froze a bit early, so he was able to dodge better.
Yeah, another early one there.
Most of the time you want to freeze as late as possible. Depends on the exact situation how you want to optimize, but generally a late freeze and then just barely making the dodges is best on Diamond Ring, and he played it on the safe side there.
Yeah, given the situations he was in, he played that pretty well. That's first on. Oh, almost didn't kill Luna there. That was a bit scary, but made it through. Oh no, that's not great. That's not intentional death from Gyouch. Oh,
Do that freeze
Cerasis
there as a backup
getting
with
a bit
Gyouch.
of a muddle with the bullets
Yeah,
there. Taking a death for it. He would have suicided here anyway, so it's not too terrible, but still not ideal.
Oh yeah, the stage 2 final spell in actually every route has a chance to not drop items. It's very exciting.
Really,
Yeah,
why
it's
is
a
that? Is it like
glitch
an item cap thing, like with Tay and IN,
No.
or is it something different?
No.
It's a glitch in the game that has an unknown cause. It just sometimes happens that the stage 2 boss doesn't drop any items.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so the game
random.
just sometimes says, oh no, I'm just not giving you them. You're not getting score off this.
Yeah, exactly.
There could be 0 bullets on screen and you might still not get a single item.
Yeah.
Doesn't depend on the timer either. You could have 1 second left, you could have 0 seconds left, and both have an equally high chance to not.
Yeah,
Wow,
and the
that's-
method
Somebody would
doesn't
have
matter
to disassemble the game to figure out the cause of this glitch. It's only at the end of stage 2 as well. The other stages don't have such a glitch associated with.
Really, that's very strange.
And
Why would
like I
the game
said,
be like
it happens in every route.
Uh,
At least every route I've played, but that's
it's
It's
unlikely you would lose one record pace from that. The items don't give too much, thankfully.
it's like 80k if you get frozen items.
Yeah, which is not a whole ton.
It's quite a lot actually.
Yeah, it's
like, it's
It's a fair amount.
yeah,
Oh.
it's really hard to increase your score after a certain point. Every single 1,000 matters quite a bit.
Oh, was that unintentional from Cerasis there? I didn't miss that.
At least the good part is that frozen items are kind of. They exist in a vacuum, you know. They don't eat your motivation or PF or your freeze route if they don't arrive, so it's just a
Yeah.
luck check for whether they decide to spawn or not.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why Ice is over here. We're gonna see big kill on Sunny and then move over and kill Luna.
That's actually interesting. Gyouch started this Ice Dissolver on the right and killed the right side fairy first. And the reason this is meaningful is because you see how the aimed lasers from Stars of Fire here, they alternate sides. First they go left to right, then they go right to left. Because of the way this works, generally players will kill the left side one first in this A1 variant.
That does make sense.
For the way it interacts with the cycle, it always starts in the same side from the fairy.
Oh, you can hear Gyouch just despairing right now. Just like, oh
Yeah.
no, man.
Yeah, he can't max resource clear after that death
Yeah.
anymore.
No.
Possibly not after the one before, but
I think the one
definitely not
before.
after this one.
Yeah.
see if Cerasis gets past this big boss spell card.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna see what kind of I have like what kind of pace Cerasis is on here.
Oh, he missed the cap. He missed the capture since he wasn't able to get this last freeze to connect in a way that let him do the final freeze correctly.
It's a still pretty good pace. It's behind his well, his new PB, but still very strong pace. Should be. I think this might be able to, if he plays well, just beat Gyouch's run again. Oh, what happened there? Did he ram Luna? Like, I just looked over and he died.
Cerasis has a ton of motivation right now.
Yeah.
He's got hit by bullets.
He might be able to do up to 4
Oh,
suicides
no.
on the final boss. The word record route, you normally wouldn't have this much lives. There's a lot of high value opportunities to spend lives on stage 2, so usually you would have at most 2 lives for the final boss if you are doing very high level scoring, but he's gonna have some safety room with these 4 lives that he's brought.
Also the big like knife spraying fairies at the end of the stage, they spawn in random positions if I recall. And some positions are pretty horrible.
Yeah, just for your score potential. Just where you want to freeze
Yeah.
and how you can get out of it.
Gyouch doing the swag ice grazes again, where he first freezes the wave and then he rushes ahead unfocused to graze the wave after. He's so swag about this, even
Yeah,
though...
he's really good. Even though he's like, you know, he's just showing what he's just showing. Even though he wasn't able to show his full power today, I mean, he showed pretty much his full power today. I would say he played very well. Gyouch.
He must have practiced this a fair bit because this is...
Yeah, both
This
players
is
did
quite
this. In
YOLO.
both players did this in their PBs too. But they just said, right, we're doing it. Let's go. Forced to do that there. Alright, so Fairy Overdrive for Gyouch. Meanwhile, we can look at Team West strategizing in chat right now.
If Cerasis is able to get this final freeze here in a way that lets it spread before the bullets get cancelled by the timeout.
Yep, got
got
it. Got it just fine. Please no weirdness on Fairy Overdrive. And please no weirdness on Meteor too. Okay, right, fine.
Also, do the fireballs there is quite dangerous, but he's not comfortable doing more freezes. That may be what he wants to do. Yeah, it's probably part of his route that he dodges through his fireballs, but you could also rush to the center there and freeze on top of the fairies as they are crossing the screen, but that requires you some charging to be able to fit all those freezes in.
Start is like
Let's see
no
Cerasis
HP
doing
right
this
now.
first spell.
Yeah.
Let's see Cerasis doing this first spell. He might be going for a big freeze here at the end using the suicide bullets from Sonny. Let's see. Or maybe
Yeah,
he's just failing damage management.
Oh,
No, he's not going for that. He was just failing damage management.
Yeah.
It's fairly tricky to go for that since you first need to have Star on a very low HP so she can die from just being barely touched by a freeze. Alright, one thing we didn't mention is the amount of damage that a freeze deals to enemies or bosses depends on how many bullets are exploding inside the damage hitbox. So if you got one bullet that's frozen inside a boss, it deals very little damage. If you got a lot, then it hits the cap. And when you're going for frozen items on that first spell there that Cerasis just shot down, you generally can't get a freeze to connect in a way that deals maximum damage, so you get a freeze that deals like 1/5 of the damage of a regular freeze, and then you have to shoot her down to flashing like this so she still dies from that. It's
that's
tricky
so
strat to go
close
for.
to Gyouch's PB as well. That's well, it would have been close to his max motivation, I should say. Unfortunate, but
He might have gotten an extra bomb from dying so much, so it's not necessarily accurate.
yeah, that too. But yeah, GG's to Gyouch. Finishing with a really strong run, but not quite able to topple Cerasis.
I think it would be very satisfied with this performance since, according to his Twitter, he was going for a 110 million clear for TWC, and earlier this week he got his first 1000% motivation clear, so being able to get one of them this live setting is definitely...
Yeah, he could be happy, but if Gyouch's happy, then Cerasis can be very, very happy because he got a really nice PB today, live on World Cup.
Also looked
Cerasis
like,
has a lot of lives here. Cerasis might be going for 2 or 3 suicides here. Let's see what he decides to do. Oh, he's not suiciding. This is strange.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
You might want to do another suicide. On this third non-spell you can kinda... You can use 0 suicides, you can use 1 suicide, you can use 2 or 3 suicides on it, but The more suicide you use, the easier it's going to be to execute generally. Since every suicide that you do refreshes your eyes without having to do a dangerous grace, and also reduces the amount of damage that your freezes do, so gonna make it a bit easier.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
one
he should have
suicide.
Yeah, he should have suicided it twice. Hashtag triggered.
Yeah, he has no reason
Get
to play
these
safe.
scrubs out of here. Make them
trigger-
suicide.
Yeah, don't trigger the wild record holder, alright? Don't do it. You don't know what could happen. What will happen, Toska?
That's a good question. I'll have
Yeah.
to think about that for a while.
Oh wow. I'm sure the punishment won't be too great though, because both these players, again, put on a really good show for us today.
Some unfortunate damage management here. You see
Yeah.
that Sunny died on the same freeze that Luna died on. Ideally, Sunny survives for one more cycle, but if you do the freezes just a bit wrong, so some of them spread and deal extra damage to Sunny, then she can die a bit early, which makes one of the freezes smaller. There's a lot of small things like that. This spell where, even though it looks like you're just raising the bullets and then doing a generic freeze, possible to fail it or optimize it in various ways for better results.
Right then, final non here. Just get
If
the
he does some
opposition
swag
to-
ice graces.
Yep.
Oh, he's done swag ice graces
Yeah,
too.
he's doing it, let's go. Cash he's almost like cashing the graze almost. It's coming that straight at him. That's how I
That's a
like
bit
to
of a
think
late
it.
bomb. Caught the first wave of the next cycle.
Yeah.
That's so
These
swag.
star rings really are like just a big source of score.
Yeah, huge freezes, and there's also a lot of optimization with how much damage they end up dealing to the boss. Depending on her position, you can have the option to do freezes that deal no damage to her here, or be forced to deal damage. And you'll notice that the damage management hasn't gone quite right here since the boss is quite low.
Yeah.
So right now he would have to use his suicide if he wanted to do one more freeze, but oh, he shot them down, that's not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he decided there, like, right, it's
Hopefully he knows how to do this spell. Or okay.
oh what? No, that's such an unfortunate death right
You
at
can
the
still
end.
you
there.
can still get full max motivation clear if because all he needs is like 50% from the spell, which is not difficult to get.
Yeah, it's
But
not too bad.
It looks like
Oh.
it's ogre.
Nope, I think he's.
Yeah, he
Is he
doesn't have
selling?
a chance to PB anymore
Yep,
at this
that's
point.
it. He
so
says he's had
he
enough.
might-
All right then. So there are your scores, everybody. GG's to both players. Both very well played. China taking the win. Like this is a really close match, honestly. I would say. I think it's lived up to the billing. What do you think?
It's not as close as I expected, considering Cerasis got quite a big PB out of this. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was pretty close. It's much closer than
Yeah.
last year's match.
Yeah, it was also unfortunate that we didn't get to talk about like Cerasis' PB as he was doing it because we were busy like explaining the run because Gyouch was like doing it for the first time.
Yeah, and I think you actually picked up this category solely for the World Cup because previously he's been playing A1 and extra,
Oh really?
where he
So
has
that's
like comparable scores to this, I would say.
yeah. So that and getting this strong this quickly is just a testament to how good Gyouch really is. So
He only had like 3 or 4 100 mil plus scores on his scoreboard, so he's definitely very new to this category.
yeah,
But he did a pretty good job, I would say.
I think
yeah,
both of these guys did some really swag moves overall, doing
yeah,
those
really swag stuff.
ice graces on the fourth non-spell on the final boss, going to the bottom on Diamond Ring all the time. Missing some score optimizations, but definitely lots of fancy dodging.
Lots of fancy dodging, lots of great freezes, lots of great stuff. And because this really is a great game to watch and to play as well. Once you get your head around it, because of course it's a very different game to all the other Touhou games. Yeah, both players be very happy. Gyouch can be happy, and Cerasis can be very, very happy getting a nice PB
Yeah.
today.
2 mil doesn't sound like much, but it is actually a pretty huge increase
Yeah,
in this game.
that's a big increase in this game. Big increase.
Gyouch will scoring just under 1 million behind his PB is a pretty solid result.
Yeah. Really, really solid from everybody. Good play, good everything. And we have another match later on today. This one you see on your screen right now, we have TD Lunatic scoring. We have our very own Maribel Heron in chat right there. You can see him going to be battling out with Lyrica and NS. Three very strong.
Is this Lyrica?
Hmm?
Is this the real Lyrica?
Is this the real Lyrica? Maybe. What I do know though is this Lyrica is a very, very strong Marisa player in 10 Desires. But Maribel Heron also a very, very strong Marisa player in 10 Desires. And I believe NS is going to be using Sinai. Yeah, it's literally two Touhous going to be battling out against a not Touhou. What's going on here? Yeah, Lyrica is insane. I'm very looking forward to seeing that. But NS also insane. I believe NS plays a very unusual shot in this game. Plays Sinai, which is a shot you don't often see for scoring in this game. So we're going to see something very rare and unusual in a few hours' time. So I believe that match starts in, let me get my time right, it starts in 6 hours and 25 minutes. So if you need to, so those in like the USA that stayed up, you got time to get a rest and get up for this very exciting match that we have coming up. And for us in Europe, three of us being in Europe here. Yeah, 5 hours 25. Sorry, 5 hours 25 minutes, not 6 hours 25. 5 hours 25 minutes.
Sweden considered part of Europe anymore. I thought they were kicked from the EU.
Look, it's fine. We're kicked. We're all in Europe. Europe is Europe. But yeah. So GG's to both our players and good luck to everybody playing 10 Desires later on today. So anything else you two want to say before we sign off here?
What are Touhou World Cups 10 Desires?
What are they? What is Touhou World Cup's 10 Desires? All I know is one of them is we see good matches, and that's what we saw today. That's definitely what we saw today. So anything to add, Satis, before we head off?
No, not really.
No, nothing? Alright then. So then everybody, hope you all enjoyed that.
Actually, I hope someone in chat can play for the West next year. Thank you.
Yeah, of course I hope somebody does play for the West, whether it's either a day off coming back or somebody new or somebody that's been playing GFW for a long time. I really hope to see somebody from the West play, because GFW really is a great game. And an underplayed game, I'd say. We should really, I hope to see more of it. Yeah, Turska, or
maybe some, yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't been playing recently.
Yeah. Turska, or Chum, or who else? Or whoever, or somebody new, like it could be anybody, you know? We'll just see. Alright then. But for now, I want to thank you all very, very much for watching this match. I will be back later on today with 10 Desires Lunatic scoring. So bye bye everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.